Well, here we go again. I got scammed once again by the same store. Well, scammed is a big word. I think, it's a little bit of a misunderstanding here on their part. Again, if you've watched my video on the Mars Attacks figures, pretty much I bought this thing at the same place. And it's generally a very good store. Again, I've been pretty much buying there since I was 10 or 11, back in 2006. And usually I never had any issues with the store. Obviously with my Mars Attacks figures, they gave me my money back. I've emailed them, they responded the next day. They are very pleasant. They actually said pretty much they could actually give me 50% back and keep the figures or a full refund. So again, they were pretty cool. Unfortunately, the biggest issues with that store are, when they're pretty much buying collections from collectors, they aren't, very well versed when it comes to action figures. Then they are pretty much placing them, as used on their website. And again, I'm not gonna mention any names here. They are a very well-known store here in the French area in Canada. I'm not gonna, name their name. They're pretty much a franchise. They have different locations. So again, when I saw this guy for sale, again, very good price. So again, for those who don't know, this is the Terminator Core Scale figure from Hot Toys. Again, fantastic figure. Pretty hefty. There's a lot of diecast in it. I saw the price and I said, you know what? Let me buy the bullet again and see. But this time I asked for pictures, and the lady was gracious enough from the store. She said, well, the condition is fine. I mean, it's a little bit dirty, which it was. I mean, the base was, there was a lot of dirt and grime in it, so I cleaned that up once I received it. Again, there was dirt here. The plasma rifle was very dirty. So again, I pretty much wiped the whole figure, which is insane. As you can see, very nice chromed paint application. It looks kind of silvery in the video, but again in person it's pretty much like a mirror, very chromy. You can see a lot of reflections there. So I pretty much saw the price, which was pretty much very fair. And then this time around I asked the store, do you have more pictures of this thing? I want to see the condition and everything. And they showed me the pictures, and pretty much the only thing that they said, it was missing one rifle. And I was, what do you mean one rifle? Well, one rifle is missing. So I think they were actually confused, because there's also an exclusive version of this thing that pretty much comes with an extra rifle. And the pictures that they've posted on the website was they pretty much took that flag from Google, which is insane. But again, they should have taken their own pictures. But yeah, this thing is pretty much complete. So pretty much that, you have this to wipe the chrome, you have the Hot Toys logo, and you have a bunch of tubes, the instruction, the base, and pretty much the figure. So everything is complete. But the biggest issue is, again, like with the Mars Attack figures, if I can talk properly, unfortunately they missed some stuff when they advertised the condition, because again, this thing is very loose, which is kind of to be expected, because again, it's the figure released 13 years ago, so it's 2013. Because of the diecast, some of the joints are a little bit loose, mainly the shoulders. I was able to fix the ball joint in the chest. As you can see, it's a little bit better than what it was before, so at least that. I think there's actually some products that you can buy. It's like a cream or something for action figures to actually help stiffen the joints, but this one is a little bit iffy, because as you can see, it's a swivel right there. So I assume I would have to take this thing apart, to pretty much fix that. But the only big issue I had with the figure is it came with a broken piston right there. And I know Justin Collectibles, or Justin Collection, when he did his review of this guy a couple years ago, he had the same issue. Pretty much the piston right there broke. I think there's actually there's a bit inside right there where he kind of broke. I'm not sure if you can see that on the video. So again, this wasn't disclosed when I purchased this. Again, I would assume this would be an easy fix. The head was actually came off completely. you know, when I got this thing, and there's no way that that would have happened during shipping, because the ball joint inside the head is very strong. You know, you need quite a bit of force to remove that. I'm not sure if the batteries work. Again, that hasn't been stated on the website. He had pretty much old batteries, so I removed that, you know, from the back of his head right there to prevent, you know, corrosion. So again, if I'm keeping this figure, which again I'm not sure 100% yet, I would have to make a separate video. So pretty much the batteries go in there, have this small compartment. I would have to do a second video, and if I do a second video, that pretty much means for you guys that I'm gonna keep the figure. So again, that wasn't disclosed. I was super pissed. Other than that, I mean, you know, my biggest issue with this is, again, and why I keep calling these a scam, is because, you know, when you're buying a figure, obviously on their website they say it was used, but they should at least, you know, put pictures of what they're buying, you know, with actual pictures, actual photos, not take some from, you know, Google, you know, and, you know, pretty much improve, like, you know, what they say in the communication. Because again, I said I'm not gonna take any more chances, so I asked them for more pictures, which they did send them to me. I pretty much asked for like close-ups, but they didn't really do that. You know, it was pretty much him inside the box from like far away like this. So I had to zoom in, but again, and I know one could say, well, why didn't you go in the store directly to see the condition of the figure? Well, the problem is I moved in the suburbs 3 years ago, and so going to the store, it's like, you know, 25 minutes from me, maybe more with traffic, and then I would pretty much save like an hour and a half from buying it online. Also shipping was free. So I said, you know, I had the pictures in hand, all I had to do is, you know, buy this online, and I pretty much got this delivered the next day, which is pretty cool. Again, shipping was pretty fast, but yeah, it's quite unfortunate, man, because, you know, it pisses me off, not the fact that necessarily that the piston is broken, but the fact that I was lied to again. And you know, the worst part is the Mars Attacks figures, you know, once I sent those back to the store, what they pretty much did a couple of days later, they pretty much re-uploaded them on the website as available, and they sold them as is. I was like, what the fuck? You know, they could have at least, you know, update some pictures and say, oh, the rubber was cracked, because if you remember from the last video I did, they pretty much, the figures were encased in this like silicone rubbery plastic, and there was cracks all over the place, and they haven't even disclosed that on the website, which is kind of weird. It's very questionable. If I am bringing this guy back, I'm gonna actually go into the store, because like I said, they have multiple locations. They have one location here near me, it's like 5 minutes, but the big store is in the city is like 20 some minutes. So if I do you know, go and bring this guy back, which again I'm gonna, you know, wait for their email and see, because again, if they do offer me like, I don't know, 30-40% back, and then I keep the figure, then I'm gonna be tempted to pretty much fix that myself, which again is not a big deal. But again, my only issue is again the loose joints, which again, it's not horrible, as you can see, it's kind of holding, but again, placing the you know, the gun into his hand is quite tricky. It's not gonna be able to do like poses like this when it's kind of holding the gun with one hand. Then it's pretty floppy. But again, it's a fantastic figure. Hopefully, if I do keep it, I'm gonna do a full review. I'm gonna show you guys the box, the accessories, all the crazy articulation. Like, for instance, even like the small toe moves. And I hope that one day Hot Toys is gonna revisit this guy and make a proper core scale of this guy again, with like an updated base, like a bigger base, like they usually do with their newest stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys know if I'm keeping this guy. But again, man, I have to, you know, have a conversation with the store owner to pretty much tell him, like, you know, when you do buy collections from people, tell your staff, do their due diligence, take pictures, update that on the website, because it's very confusing. You know, I'm kind of wasting my time here of buying their stuff, you know, spending a lot of money, even though this guy was a pretty, you know, good deal. Again, I think I've paid pretty much retail for this guy. If you remember back in the day, he was $3.99 from Sideshow. So that's pretty much what I pay for it. Again, used, they're pretty much like, they are between $600 and $700 online. And like, sometimes you're gonna get lucky on the Facebook groups for that amount. I know on eBay he's way more than that. And like the exclusive, again, that's even more, which comes with, again, a second gun. Okay guys, so just a quick update. I was able to bring the endoskeleton back to the store. It was quite complicated because I got an email yesterday pretty much, and my understanding was if I was to keep the figure, I would pretty much get like 10%, which was interesting. Again, if they would have given me a little bit more, considering the loose joints, the broken piston in the neck, I would have kept it, but I said, you know, screw it, I'm gonna bring that to the store. And again, some of you may say, well, all you have to do is glue the piston back inside the head. The problem with that, it would have kind of hindered the articulation, to be quite honest, because of the position of the piston, and that would have ended up breaking again, you know, in a couple of months. So again, I decided to bring it to the store, but in my surprise, when I pretty much brought the figure in, and again, I pretty much talked to like 3 different people, you know, again, it was quite difficult because one lady pretty much, she said, well, we aren't accepting any returns on opened action figures. And I mean, what do you mean opened action figures? You guys clearly bought a used collection, you know, you pretty much put it for sale with no information regarding any of the problems. And this time, and this thing is not even new. I mean, you know, it clearly says on the website it's used, you know, it's a previous collection that they pretty much purchased in bulk. And then I talked to another guy who I think was responsible for buying collections or whatever. I think that was the right dude. I pretty much asked him, so when you're purchasing collections, are you taking the time to actually look, you know, what's inside the box and make sure everything is there? I mean, clearly all you have to do is, you know, go on Google, you know, type the name of the figure, and then you pretty much see a picture of everything that's supposed to be in the, you know, in the box and everything. And he pretty much said, well, we don't have that knowledge here, unfortunately. I mean, you guys are in business for like 45 years and you have no knowledge on action figures? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So again, I tried to be as polite as possible, and finally I was able to get the full refund, you know, on the endoskeleton, which again, guys, it's a shame because that thing was incredible. Like the craftsmanship, I can't believe that figure was made like 13 years ago. Again, the diecast was solid. The articulation for the most part was pretty good, except for like the loose shoulders and everything, which I'm not sure how I would able to like repair that, because again, some of them have like screws on the back of the figure, which using a screwdriver I could have tightened those up, which I did, but some of the articulation are kind of hidden inside, you know, the mechanisms, so that would have been, you know, more difficult to fix. So again, it is what it is, but again, guys, make sure to stay tuned. I'm gonna do an update here on my collection. I have some brand new pieces, as you can see here, just a sneak peek. Those heads are big, again, those from our Prime Studios, so I'm gonna do some reviews on those. There's a couple of NECA figures which I'm gonna get here in the next couple of days, so I'm gonna do a big update on that. And again, guys, make sure to give me a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know always in the comments below what you think about this whole situation, because technically this is the second time that I kind of get scammed here by the same goddamn store. So again, it is what it is. Luckily I was able to get the refund and sort things out. Hopefully they're gonna update some pictures on their website again when they get new products. So guys, stay safe out there, have a great weekend, see you soon on the next video, bye bye.